You know, you're the main reason I came down to this trade center show.
Who's the main reason?
To see you.
Really?
Me?
Me?
To talk on the
You're kidding me.
YouTube, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I feel very honored. How did you find it? Ladies and gentlemen, we are in our remote booth studio at it is October 17th. Thank you very much for helping out with that date. 2015. This is Trade Show Web Radio, and we're here for Super Matum. But I have in the studio Beverly Wallin. I'm going to hold her book up, and her book is called You Don't Have to Be a Wimp to Be Abused. That is a very intriguing title. Can you please, an easy guide to understanding domestic violence against men?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Please explain this.
Well, this book, I was inspired by something that happened. So I felt a real need to get the message out there that even men who are, strong guys can be abused. People that don't want to, hurt women.
Yeah.
Right? They can take a lot of emotional abuse too.
Yeah.
And not just physical abuse. But he experienced, in this book, Fred experienced what a lot of men do experience, physical abuse. Yeah, he was actually,
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
a toxic soup.
Yes.
So what? So through this book, step me through. Is it his journey?
I've tried to go a little bit by him, but I've also added things to make it relevant to all men these days.
So, a man in a relationship
Yes.
can get physically abused by his female partner.
Yes, and he doesn't have to be a little guy.
How frequently does that happen?
Oh, a lot more than you could possibly imagine.
Really?
Yeah, because, women are abused a lot, and even they don't report it. Can you imagine men? They wouldn't want to report
they're ashamed and embarrassed.
Yes,
Because what kind of man would want to admit that?
that's right. Exactly.
And you can't hit a woman.
No,
I
that's
won't
right.
do it. I just
Yeah.
can't. I cannot bring myself to do it.
And that's what he thought.
I'll restrain her.
After
but-
the first attack, he asked the police, is it okay if I fight back?
And what they say?
And they said, yeah, absolutely. If you're being attacked, yes, you have every right to fight back.
This is also very strange to me. This is a foreign concept. I
Yeah.
know it happens,
Yeah.
but I need to be reminded of how serious this can be.
Oh, yeah. Men, you need to know you can fight back. It might save your life. Wow. Yeah.
So, take me to the point in the book that was a turning point for him.
Yes.
So, what happened? When did you decide, no, I can't live like this. I got to change it. And what did he do?
Well, he was married. Then what happened was he was working out of town by his wife's kind of pushing him into doing that. And he met someone that he had gone to high school with. He thought she was okay. Didn't know anything about her having problems like this. And she got pregnant on purpose.
Oh,
Hooked him in. His wife didn't want to take him back because he wanted to keep the child. He didn't want the child to be growing up with
Fatherless.
this woman. For them.
so did he
Yeah.
go to someone for help, or did you help? Like, how did he receive help?
Well, that's a good question. Really, it was when she stabbed him the first time. That's when he started to get help from the social workers, because mostly social workers believe it's the man's fault.
Yep.
He's the one who's abusive, or they're both abusive.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until then that they realized that she was the one who was abusive, not him.
So the first stabbing, he decided to go to a social worker and get help.
Yes.
Okay, this is good.
Yes.
So why was there a second attempt? Like, why was that allowed to happen?
She was put in jail. Her brother bailed her out. Then she broke into his apartment. Well, actually, not even his apartment. He was in a house. So she was able to break into that. He was really lucky because he had a couple that were staying in the room next door in his house. So they were able to intervene. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. You know, when a woman gets mad, or anyone gets really mad,
Well,
they
a woman scorned.
have a lot of strength.
Hell hath no fury than a woman scorned.
Yes, that's right.
Why can't we vet our spouses better?
Why can't we what?
Vet. Vet? Maybe that's not the right word. When you have to screen someone, you know.
Oh, yeah, screen your husband. Yeah.
Why can't we do that before the troubles, you know?
Would be
we
nice.
fall in love and we just kind of forget about all their other sins and all their other character traits and thinking, I'll change
yes.
them.
Yes.
But it never happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if they're locked in an emotional state
Yeah.
that is abnormal. You're fighting a losing battle.
You fall in love, you are in an abnormal state. You really are.
You're right. You're right.
You're temporarily insane.
So, yeah. I was just going to say that. So, oh my goodness. So that's how it happens.
Yes. And there was also drugs involved in this too. That She had him on drugs.
She had him on drugs.
Yeah.
Was she a drug user as well?
She was a drug dealer.
She was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
What a bad combination.
I know.
So where do you speak? Do you speak, obviously, somewhere?
Yes.
You
Yes.
must speak all over the country with this book.
I haven't spoken all over the country, but I have spoken in my community. Toastmasters, things like that.
And you have an MA in psychology?
Yes.
A certified counselor, life coach, and former newspaper columnist.
Yes.
When I have to talk. She works with seniors, challenged individuals, and victims of abuse. Wallin has written a series of books. You don't have to be a wimp to be abused. Guides for men and women to educate them on how to avoid abusive relationships. Boy, do you have a big job ahead of you.
Yes, I know.
It's always going to be there.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. What advice would you give to a man that is going to involve himself with a woman? What are the warning signs to look for?
Well, in this book, I've listed a number of red flags. That could be anything, say they've been abused in the past. How do they treat their family? Their sisters, their brothers, their mothers, their fathers. Do they use alcohol, drugs? Those kinds of things. Do they laughingly, say something nasty and then to say, "Oh, I was just kidding."
Oh,
Just those kinds of things.
Passive-aggressive stuff.
Yeah. Pushing to get together sooner than you should. Maybe you should date for at least 6 months to a year before you think about moving in together.
Taking control away. Are they control freaks, these people that abuse?
Yes.
Because
that's what it's all about, power and control.
Yeah, rape isn't about rape, sex. It's about control and
that's
power.
Right. Anger.
Yeah, exactly right. So you should get, if it was me in that position and the woman was physically abused, I should leave the house immediately, right?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Don't even think. The first time it enters my mind, that's the time I should have done it, right?
Yeah, if possible. Yeah.
Well,
but it's hard. It's hard when you got a baby. You got a baby to take care of.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, especially a man. You're like,
if it wasn't,
she'd say, "Oh, you kidnapped my child."
Yeah. If it wasn't for the child, it would be so much easier, right?
Yeah.
You can just tear the bed sheet and that's it.
It's the same with women too. It's just very hard to leave when you have children.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I feel men can be so aggressive and violent, but women are more devious and sneaking, aren't they?
Oh, very manipulative.
They plan.
Yes.
They plan. And like stuff that I would never even think of.
Yes.
Like, wow, that was pretty devious.
Yeah.
Devious.
She had that all planned out. I have no doubt. She had a modus operandum. And she's done this with guys before, and she's done it again.
But they must get mentally exhausted living that pattern.
Well,
they know they're wrong, don't they?
Yeah. With borderline personality disorder, other than the other personality disorders, they do have ups and downs and depression. So I think that's why she self-medicates by using cocaine, drugs like that. I've noticed that people that have those kind of disorders, either they're so high, like emotionally, or so low, it's very difficult for them to. And it must be a prison. They're in bondage, aren't they? But it still doesn't mean what they're doing is right. Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, they're not really that high. See, you must. There's a difference between borderline personality disorder and, say, bipolar disorder. They're on opposite ends of the axis in the DSM-4 or 5 now, I guess it is.
What's DSM-5?
It is the diagnosis statistics manual for psychologists and psychiatrists.
Really?
Yeah.
And so there's 5 categories.
Yeah, there's 5. I think there's probably 5.
Do you know them?
But the first one is personality disorders. And the second is things like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, those kinds of things.
Do you think that people are born like that, or do they create that kind of personality?
That is a very good question. Bipolar disorder is, you have to have 2 genes to get that. They're thinking now that there might be a genetic connection with borderline personality disorder.
Really?
And the raising, how they're raised, is really important. If they were abused really badly as a child. Yes.
So I'll bet you can teach people how to see those red flags too, right? Through your book.
It's helpful, but it's not that easy. I personally have been in 2 20-year abusive relationships.
You have?
Yes, mostly emotional.
You didn't learn from the first time,
No,
though?
I didn't. Emotional abuse is so subtle.
Yes.
That, especially if you grew up with it, you just don't even see
It's a part of you. And the shame and the embarrassment. Yeah.
You start making excuses for your partner. Oh, well, he's just had a hard day at work.
Instead of confronting them and saying that's wrong.
Yeah.
You need
even if you do confront them, even if they do try to change,
what's going to happen? What?
Still doesn't seem to work, you know?
And you're walking on eggshells almost all the time, right? Hello, everyone. If you've been enjoying this web radio show, help us spread the word about our service called Trade Show Web Radio. It is one of the most unique, powerful, and dynamic marketing platforms in North America today, and we would love to share it with you. A web radio show is also known as a podcast, and many entrepreneurs are using web radio to grow their businesses. But very few have the time, expertise, or resources to develop a show of their own. That's where you can come in. Our new online training course can show you how to set up a broadcast booth in almost any trade show, event, wedding, or festival and capture all of the energy and excitement of the moment and create a branded web radio show series for small and medium-sized businesses. Take our training today and enjoy 50% off of your investment. Go to udemy.com, that's udemy.com, and search for the phrase Create Your Own Web Radio Show for incredible business growth. Then, enter the coupon code WebRadio50 to enjoy 97 lectures and 6 hours of video content and start podcasting today. Find us on tradeshowwebradio@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
With my last relationship, I was, in the end. For the first, 19 years or so, it was pretty good, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold it now. How does a relationship turn from non-abusive to abuse? What happened to him that caused him to do that?
I don't know. Some kind of mental illness, I think.
Still trying to figure it out?
Yeah, he's really abused as a child, and he never really got over it. And he didn't want to be like his dad. Not wanting to be like someone is it's impossible. You need to have a good role model to follow. I don't want to be like that. You can end up being exactly like that.
That's what happened to me. I said, I never want to be like my mother.
Yeah.
And guess what? Screwed up for years and years and years. And I had to find my way back. And it was difficult.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, boom, one day I let all that emotion and all that forgiveness go.
Oh, good.
And I thought, rage, fear, anxiety, it's all a lie.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a lie.
It is.
We've been fed a lie. And then we take that heightened emotional state when we're in a rage and go make decisions about our family, our life, our business, our friends, in those emotional states. How stupid is that?
It's not stupid. It's
life.
It's irrational, but it's not stupid. It's being a human being.
Yeah, but you can screw up your life so bad.
Yeah, I know you can.
So bad.
You can.
So first thing is I got to leave the house. Then what do I have to do? I got to contact social services?
Seek help.
Seek help. And the best of social services or what?
If you want to rescue a child, yes, social services. Seeing a counselor who has been trained in the domestic violence.
Where would they find those people?
You can call transition homes, crisis lines.
Churches?
Yeah.
Would churches?
Churches, some churches, not all churches are, understand abuse.
Equipped, yeah. Or some churches don't want to admit that there's abuse going on.
There's still churches that, encourage the person to go back to the relationship.
Wow, that's pretty, you know what? Unless they've changed 100%, what do you think?
I would check it out for sure. Call a transition house even, and they don't maybe have many for men, but even a women's transition house, they will give you answers. It's not all that different. The dynamics of abuse are similar, whether it's a man or a woman.
Can you repair the damage to a person that's abused, say, another person? Can they ever get back together and be happy?
Only if they want to.
But I mean, in your opinion, what's the percentage of people that you think can do that? Low, 20%?
1% maybe?
1%?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when I see this pattern coming at me, I should think 1%, right?
Yeah.
Like it scares me. I should consider leaving this. Cut
you can't change them. You really can't. I mean,
tear the bed so you can get out of there.
To change, they would have to. It's their personality. They would have to have their job involved, their family, everything. Their whole life would have to count on it, making this change.
And it's ingrained in them.
Yes.
And they have no intention of changing. They only want to change it because they got caught abusing somebody, and now they got slapped in the wrist, and now they're getting punished, and they don't want to truly change.
They
just don't like getting caught.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the problem with teaching, men not to be aggressive, or women for that matter, is that they just learn better ways to do it.
Yeah. Prison is a classic example. If you go to prison as a man, you come out a better criminal.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yeah, it's true.
The same thing. I love the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes, that's so true.
If you're spending time with people that have mental disorders, you feed that, don't you?
You do.
How long has that book been out?
For about a year. I have it published on Amazon.ca.com, all countries in the world that speak English.
You must be so proud. I mean, I can't think of a more needed service, a more needed calling for somebody, because it's the silent majority. Women will come up, say I've been abused way more than men.
Yeah, and some are even abusers themselves that say they're abused.
Yeah.
Or men too, for that matter.
It's a difficult way. It's a difficult pattern to break. Can it ever be broken?
Good question. It really is. I think I'm trying to at least reach out and let people know how rampant it is.
I have a question, because you're an expert in this. Is it possible to take, say I'm an abuser, is it possible to take a part of my personality and isolate that and work on it while I keep my other traits?
No.
So I got to change the whole thing.
Like spirit, mental, physical, it's all one.
So is that why people are reluctant to change, because it's too big a job, they think, for them?
Oh, can you imagine trying to change your whole personality?
And to that, how do I change it? Do I want to be good? You know what I'm saying? Reason in my mind, do I really want to be good if I'm bent, if I've had a pattern of being bad for 45 years?
The thing is, if you're getting what you want, why would you want to change?
You've hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
Even if it's destructive.
Yes.
When I saw my mother drunk and on pills all the time, I said, And I saw determination, because she would do anything to get a pill or a drink. Like, the woman was determined, and I thought, I never want to be like that. So guess what I didn't want to be? Determined. Because I only saw the negative.
Oh,
I never saw the positive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I really had to do a lot of soul searching and say, it's ridiculous.
It is.
I can be determined.
Yes.
She used her life energy for self-destruction. I can use my life energy to help people.
Yes.
Like interview people like this and get your word out and your message out. I think that's really important what you're doing.
I really appreciated it. You're the main reason I came down to this trade center show.
Who's the main reason?
To see you.
Really?
Me? To talk on the...
You're kidding me.
YouTube, yes.
Thank you so much. Yes. I feel very honored. How did you find it?
A friend of mine was here last night or whatever, and she told me about it.
Now, wait a minute, because I was away from the booth, and someone said, Rick, a woman came in and she really wanted to meet you. Who's your friend? Do I know her?
Joseanne Franklin.
Do I know her?
You probably talked to her.
Probably.
Or maybe her friend Toby. What's his last name? I can't remember his last name.
Toby, the French guy.
Yes.
Of course. I interviewed
Yes.
What a wonderful gentleman. I mean, you want to meet a kind-hearted spirit.
Yes, he
He's
is.
just so full of love and the Frenchman, and I'm going to eat with you, and we're going to spend a lot of time together. And
Yes.
what a great guy. Just spending time around him is healing.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's just full of bubbly energy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know how he sleeps at night, but I'm glad he is how he is. And is that his wife? That there's
Girlfriend.
kind of girlfriend.
Yeah.
They make an amazing couple.
They do.
They just
They
so.
do. Yeah.
Now that's a couple that will never abuse themselves. I don't think.
No.
Never say
They're
never?
really working on themselves. Both of them are working on themselves, not each other.
Yeah, a question just popped into my mind. If I'm an abuser and I know I have to work on myself, but do I have to dedicate also? I have to dedicate part of my program to work on my spouse, don't I? Like
No, you can't help someone else. You can only help yourself.
Yeah, but what I think I'm getting at is, if I need to change myself, and I know that I need to change myself, do I need to become aware and sensitive of your needs so I can better create a new beginning?
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
And communication is key. Well, couples, I think if they have something in the other person, if they're annoying them some way, they need to vocalize it just in a, when you do this, I feel this way. Is there something we can do about it? Don't pointing fingers, you're doing this and you're doing that wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could it also be that your spouse could work a little bit on them and say, I'm not going to make it affect me as much.
Yeah.
If it's a little thing.
Yeah, the little things, eh? Like, I like that book, Don't Sweat the Small Things.
Yes.
That really helped me.
Did it?
Yes. Yeah.
Did it inspire you to write that book, or?
Well, no, but it helped me deal with abuse, At least I didn't worry about, if he left his sock, laying on the on the floor. He didn't do that on purpose to bug me, like I had to decide to talk myself out of some of these things.
And was that a painful process? Talking yourself out of some things and just saying, relax? I'm picking your brain because you're so interesting.
It was helpful. It was, what I did was I put an elastic band on my wrist, and when I would say things like that, I snapped the band, and then I changed what I was thinking, right?
A lot of people
is that true? No, he didn't really do that on purpose, so it's okay.
Will that work for a lot of people?
It does. Yeah, it's called the rubber band technique. Yeah.
I like that. And so you've been in an abusive relationship for what, 20 years, did you say?
2 times.
20
Two
years.
relationships, 20 years
40
each.
years.
Yes.
I can't possibly imagine.
You think I'm crazy? I must be crazy.
Yeah, you could write the book. Your next book is going to be How to Be Crazy.
Actually, the next book is going to be Domestic Violence Against Women. And it's going to carry on somewhat from this book. I have more information in it, and they're both actually good for both men and women.
I'll bet when you get up and speak in front of people, and you talk about those taboo subjects, and you see that wonderful light bulb go on above people's heads, and you think, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
It's my purpose.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
And you'd be surprised, men who are abusive even like to read this book, because they think they're a victim. And I hope it opens some of their eyes. I really do.
How do we get men to stop being such jerks? I'm serious.
I'd sure love to know that answer.
I want to write a book called The Fragile Male Ego, because we do such stupid things. And then we defend ourselves. We dig in our heels and say, no, do it because I said so, not because
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It's part of society, I think, the way that men are socialized compared to women.
I think it's a wrong part of society.
Yeah.
I think men have been away from the campfire for far too long. And they need to come back in from the cold and say to their wives, how do I do this stuff?
Yeah.
Wives are the caregivers.
Yeah, and women need to set their boundaries, too.
Yeah.
Because women have been socialized more to be kind and nice and say the right things even when they don't mean it. That's how we've been brought up.
And some men will see a target on the women,
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. That's in my book, actually.
Is it?
Yes.
Like,
if you've been abused before.
They can almost smell the fear.
Yes.
And they are attracted to it, like perfume, pheromones.
Yes.
Is that because I don't get
It's
it.
like they can see it from a mile away. Oh, she'd probably be someone I could take advantage of. Or
So you've taught people how to see that antenna in that book, right?
hopefully, I'm doing my best.
When's the next book coming out?
I'm going to try to get it out by Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to sell it online or imprinted or both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Is this one online too?
See, this is, it's print on demand with Amazon.com. And I bought, what I did originally was buy 20 copies of this book. This is my last one. But if you want to order it online, they just print it as it's ordered. Then it's also in Kindle.
I love Kindle.
Yeah.
It's a good program,
Yeah.
good platform.
Yeah.
So, how you doing? I can see you putting together just a stellar course where people can, even if they're in trouble, smartphone, bring up a list. Here's what to do, to do. Emergency list.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be a good
that
idea.
would help people
Yeah.
because there could be, when they're in that state where they're being abused or abusing, they're not thinking straight.
No.
And there's no way that you can get to them, to talk to them here and here, right?
Yeah.
So a little 6-point bulletin would say, under stress, read here. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Get out of the house, da-da-da-da. I wonder if that would work.
I wonder. A lot of it's denial. They're in denial that they're being abused.
But don't they know on some level that they're being abused? Like,
Unhappiness. That's a really good clue. Depression, unhappiness, that should give them a big clue.
Yeah.
Something's not right here.
I believe in your program. I believe in your book. I believe in what you're doing. I really want to thank you. Anything else you want to tell us about the book before we end?
Well, this book, the new one about women, is a story about a woman named Jane, and it's taken from a real person, but changed also, just like Fred in this first book, to kind of hit all kinds of people
Sure.
so that they can relate to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for part of your story in the second book too.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about this, your eyes light up, eh?
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
So you can't help but do this.
That's right. It's my life's work, I feel. Yes.
Yeah. It's magnetizing you. It's pulling you towards a direction, and that adds the magic, don't you think?
Yeah.
You know,
So,
when you start talking,
yeah.
and these people really need help. You know, I was talking, listening to a podcast the other day, and she said something so beautiful. She said, as a business coach or a person or a business person, it's up to you to make a meal. Think about a life as a smorgasbord, and you have to make a rice dish or whatever your favorite dish and spice it with all of your experiences. And that smorgasbord of life, if you don't bring your meal, somebody doesn't get to eat.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's your calling. If you don't get this book into people's hands, somebody doesn't get to eat. Somebody doesn't get to save their marriage, their lives, their, you know?
Yeah.
They're going hungry and they're starving for your stuff. I like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a delight, Beverly, to have you on the show. Now listen, as soon as I get this interview done, we will send you the YouTube, and you can use it any way you want.
Yeah.
And I'll put it up on my website. Anything else before we wrap up? Anything else you want to tell us?
Well, Rick, I am writing a novel too.
Really?
Yeah. Something is a little bit like my second book on Jane, but it's going to be different, and it's going to be more, just made up stuff and have a fun story in it.
Like an educational, informational, and entertainment?
More of a novel. More of a novel.
More of a novel. Nice. You can put it on Amazon?
It's going to actually be more on the illness of bipolar disorder, which a lot of women can have when they're in an abusive relationship.
Does it force bipolar?
Doesn't force it, but if you have the genes, you have to have a gene for mania and a gene for depression. And if you're under a lot of stress, yes, it could bring it out. Yeah.
It's a trigger.
Yeah.
You know, you're a vivacious, you're wonderful.
I'm tenacious.
Got a
I'm
lot
stubborn.
of wisdom, but you've got a lot of joy too, and you've got a story that's keeping you rolling.
Yeah, because I've risen above it.
Oh, good for you. And bipolar is really a chemical imbalance, isn't it? Can it be a chemical imbalance?
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is.
And it's not their fault.
No.
It's
no.
like getting the flu. How can you not get the flu sometimes?
Exactly. Yeah. If you had cancer, you'd get treated.
Yeah. It's not like the measles can't, it's serious stuff and you got to pay attention.
All illnesses are part mental, part physical.
They do have that component. I've heard that if you're under a lot of stress, you can get cancer if you keep it bottled up inside.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that we're a pressure cooker. And sometimes we just got to take the lid off and get rid of the steam.
Yeah, that's right.
I've just really enjoyed this interview. You have no idea. When this goes on YouTube, people are going to be magnetized to this interview.
They do.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so again, let's show you the book. You don't have to be a wimp to be abused. An easy guide to understanding domestic violence against men. Guys, important book. Women, get this for your men. This is absolutely important. Beverly, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rick.
It was fantastic.
Okay.